Our next guest lived in Ukraine for several years, first as a Peace Corps volunteer and then as a private citizen. She says she learned how to be an adult in Ukraine. This invasion is personal, and we're honored to have her insight. Elon English professor Jennifer Eidum joins me now. Good evening. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So just tell me a little bit about this. I know your first husband was Ukrainian. Your son is half Ukrainian. This is clearly very personal to you. When Russia invaded, just share with me, please, your initial reactions.
Yeah, so we all had this sense that something was building, but I don't think anybody anticipated that that moment would come when Putin would order an invasion. And I remember sitting there and, doom scrolling Twitter and seeing that this was coming and just knowing that I had to witness this. So I went and turned on the TV. I connected with some friends and I just cried because all of those feelings, all of that fear, all of that anticipation was happening. And since then, it's just been alternating horror that this is happening, but also seeing the resilience of the Ukrainian people. But then my breath is knocked out every time I hear from a friend. I just got a message before getting on with you guys that some friends are, hanging out with their newborn in a bomb shelter.
Wow. Yeah, so I know one thing you tweeted is you said Ukrainians have shown the world the work that goes into creating and maintaining democracy. We can learn a lot from them. We need to be there for them too now. Write to your elected officials, exercise your own democratic rights to protest. Small actions from many do matter. What are some of those things that you are calling for? What would you like to see from your elected officials here at home?
Yeah, that's a really great question. At first I wanted to see action related to supporting Ukraine. But I feel like the West has really taken a lot of action, and that action is spreading worldwide. The UN is taking great actions. The EU, I just saw, is connecting Ukraine to its electrical network. So there's major things happening policy-wise. I think that one of the areas my attention is turning right now is domestically. Ukrainians are fleeing as refugees. And so talking to our leaders and asking them to support refugees, but not only refugees from Ukraine, but refugees worldwide. There are many conflicts and many refugees are needed.
So I know you were there, you served in the Peace Corps for about 27 months. You wound up being there for about 3 years. You still have friends who are there. What was that, 7 hours by bus, 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours by car. So are they going to, I know when we talked earlier, you talked a little bit about how, while the explosions aren't necessarily happening right outside of their door, they're of course definitely experiencing what's going on. What does it look like outside their window? Are they going to work? Are they going throughout normal life?
I think that at first they were sort of in shock and wondering what would happen. But now, hearing the reports that they are in bomb shelters really does indicate that the conflict is reaching even towns outside of the major cities.
Sure. So I know you have a talk coming up on Thursday with another Elon professor. Tell us a little bit about that and where that's going to be.
Yeah, so the talk coming up is Thursday at 5:30 p.m. in Sankey 208. So it'll be in person as well as online. And one of my colleagues, Professor Starosh in economics, will be speaking about his experience as a Ukrainian citizen and someone who has a lot of family contacts there, as well as an economist. And I will be speaking about sort of my experience as a Peace Corps volunteer, as well as Ukrainian language and cultural history, from my perspective as a linguist and rhetorician.
All right. Well, Jennifer,
so we are hoping to offer a stream as well. We're looking into the logistics of that.
Wonderful. And we will keep our viewers updated if you have one. Jennifer Eidum, thank you so much for joining us. And for more in-depth on Jennifer and her story, you can pick up a copy of this week's Pendulum.